He has a €1 billion release clause and just won a World Cup. He also broke his own fingers, punching a TV during a PlayStation session. To understand why Lamine Yamal lives the way he does, you have to start with the block that raised him. Rocafonda is a working-class neighborhood in Mataró, about 30 kilometers up the coast from Barcelona. It's not the postcard version of Catalonia. It's a place where a large share of residents were born outside the region, where poverty runs high, and where nobody was drawing up a blueprint for producing the most valuable teenager in football history. His father, Muna, came to Spain from Morocco. His mother, Sheila, came from Equatorial Guinea, and she was 16 years old when she had him. Yamal himself has said it plainly, that the real pressure in his life was never the football, it was watching his parents build a life from nothing while he just got to play. Now, let's talk about what that kid from Rocafonda is actually worth today, because the numbers are genuinely absurd. In May 2025, at 17 years old, Yamal signed a new contract with Barcelona running through 2031, with a base salary reportedly in the range of 15 to 20 million euros a year before bonuses. Attached to it is a release clause of €1 billion, the highest in club history, inserted specifically to make sure no rival could even dream of prying him away. That's before you factor in the commercial side. He's the face of Adidas's next generation of stars, following the exact path Messi walked before him, and he's stacked up endorsement deals across more than a dozen brands. Independent analysts have called him the most commercially valuable teenager the sport has ever produced. And his fame arrived just as fast as the money. In the summer of 2024, at 16 years old, he curled in a stunning strike against France in the European Championship semi-final, becoming the youngest goalscorer in the history of the tournament. So here's a kid who was rich, famous, and worth hundreds of millions before he could legally have a drink in most of the world, which makes what comes next almost impossible to believe. So what does a kid worth that kind of money actually do with his free time? He plays PlayStation, he rides his bike, he gets drinks with friends, he eats pasta at home. In December 2025, he posted a house tour on his own YouTube channel that racked up millions of views. People expected a mansion. What they got was a modest duplex with moving boxes still sitting unpacked, a small kitchen, a gaming setup with a PS5, and a terrace he admitted he'd never once used. It looked like the apartment of any regular guy in his 20s. In one of his own videos, someone asked why his hand was bandaged. His answer: he'd punched the TV mid-PlayStation session and broken his fingers. That's the richest teenager in football, hurting himself over a video game like anybody else on the block. But the clearest evidence of who Yamal actually is isn't the modest apartment. It's what he did the moment real money started coming in. At 16, as soon as he started earning serious wages at Barcelona, the first thing he did was buy 3 houses, one for his grandmother, one for his mother, one for his father. He's been direct about what mattered most in that decision, and it wasn't the size of the houses. When he signed his massive new contract in 2025, he reportedly delayed the entire official photo shoot until his grandmother arrived, then walked in holding her hand. That's not a manufactured moment for a camera. That's just how the family operates. Every time Yamal scores, he flashes the same hand gesture, 304. It's the last 3 digits of Rocafonda's postal code, 08304, and he's turned it into his signature celebration and even had a custom chain made with the number on it. It's a way of saying, no matter how far this goes, I haven't forgotten where I'm from. Back in the neighborhood, there's a bar named for that exact celebration, filled with trophies from his youth career, run in part by his own family. It's a small, specific detail, but it captures the whole story better than any stat sheet could. The kid worth close to $500 million is still, in every way that matters to him, from that block. There's one more story that ties this whole thing together, and it starts almost 20 years ago. In October 2007, FC Barcelona held a UNICEF charity photo shoot at Camp Nou. A 20-year-old Lionel Messi, still early in his own rise, was photographed bathing a baby for a charity calendar. That baby was 3-month-old Lamine Yamal, whose family had won a raffle to appear alongside a Barcelona player that day. Messi wore the number 10 shirt at Barcelona for years. Yamal wears it now. In June 2026, on the opening day of the World Cup, UNICEF named Yamal a goodwill ambassador himself, the same role Messi had once held, focused on protecting every child's right to play. Days later, on June 21, 2026, Yamal scored his first ever World Cup goal, slotting home in the 10th minute against Saudi Arabia to help send Spain to a 4-0 win. It made him the youngest Spanish player ever to score at a World Cup, and it was only the beginning of what that tournament had in store for him. Because on July 19, 2026, Spain met Argentina in the World Cup final at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. 19 years after Messi held him as an infant for that charity photo, Yamal squared off against him for a World Cup title. In extra time, in the 106th minute, Yamal set up Ferran Torres for the winning goal, and Spain beat Messi's Argentina 1-0 to win their second ever World Cup. At the final whistle, Yamal was seen embracing a devastated Messi on the field, 19 years old, a World Cup winner, in what may have been the last World Cup of Messi's career. The kid from the concrete pitch in Rocafonda had just closed a loop that started before he could even remember being part of it. Lamine Yamal is rich, genuinely, historically rich, with a €1 billion release clause and a World Cup winner's medal to go with it. But he's also still the kid who grew up on a concrete pitch in one of Spain's poorest neighborhoods, whose mother worked as a waitress and whose father built a life from nothing. He still plays PlayStation. He still rides his bike. He still won't take the photo without his grandmother in the room. The money changed his address. It didn't change who he is. So here's the question for you. What surprises you more? The €1 billion number, or the fact that the same kid still can't be bothered to use his own terrace? Drop it in the comments, and if you enjoyed this one, make sure to like and subscribe.